What's up, us tribe? It's your girl Drea.
And Renee, how's everybody doing?
What's going on? So we're gonna get our notes together real quick.
And we will be right back.
Hey family, it's Renee. Are you guys looking to learn firearm safety or do you want to just get in shape with you and 9 of your friends? If so, make sure you get it from BodyBioTactical.com. Let him and his team get you into fighting shape. Not only is it affordable, he comes to you. Again, that is BodyBioTactical.com.
So let's get it popping. So yes, y'all know what time it is. We back in the building. I feel like I have like a different like saying every week. We back in the building for today. We have an interesting topic. Y'all been seeing what's going on in the news and just in the world. So I'm gonna start calling you Nay Nay. Nay Nay, what's the what's the topic of today? Y'all know, y'all probably like, what is she on today? She's on one today. What's the
Today,
topic?
we will be talking about the normalization of perversion.
Mm.
But before we get into that, I just want to say that thank you to everybody who has liked our page and subscribed to us because we've seen the growth over the past week and a half, and you guys are making this possible, and we appreciate you.
Yes, so shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the tribe. We definitely appreciate you all. So let's get into it. Man. The normalization of perversion. Because it's real out here in the streets. And y'all see the perversion all the time and it's getting normalized. So let's kick it off. So what you got for us?
How did we get here? Like, how did we get to the point where we can openly accept perversion?
Honestly, I just think that it just became more mainstream. So it was more like this black market, underground type of perversion. You know, we already had porno, right? But
Hmm.
now it's like you can access it for free. You don't have to go on these like weird, creepy, like bathhouses or these weird, creepy porno shops. You could just access it from a click and you can see all type of perversion. And I just think it just became mainstream, especially you got stripper culture, you have whole culture, you have molestation culture, you got pedophile culture, and I just think people are just like, well, no one don't want to speak up. You have a small few of people who speak up, but then they get shamed, and then it's like,
Exactly.
well, we're going to like just accept it because we don't want to be shamed. So, what you think about why do you think it got normalized, from your opinion?
Well, just to kind of piggyback on one of the points that you said, I think that molestation being this big family secret, especially in the black community, I think that you're just like putting band-aids on a bullet wound because nobody's teaching these kids how to heal, and when they say something about it, they're berated for
Mm.
expressing that they've been, hurt by uncle so and so or cousin so and so. And I mean, fortunately for me, I've never had that situation in my family. It wasn't no weird uncle or cousin that we were told to stay away from. But I understand that, like, not everybody was like that. Some people had that sickness in their family. And just because you don't address it doesn't just mean it's going to go away.
Right, exactly. And I have to piggyback off you said. I didn't have that as well in my family. Like, oh my God, don't talk to uncle such and such or grandma or cousin such and such. I just think that people didn't, especially family members, didn't give safe space. So I mean about safe space is like, okay, come to me and like let's discuss what happened and let's like press charges or whatever the case is. And I think a lot of times, you have the mom and a boyfriend, you always hear that case
Hmm.
touching on the children, and then the mother's like, well, that's my man, because I guess they feel their self-esteem is at the bottom or don't have self-esteem and they can't get a quote unquote man, or like kick his ass out of there or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, we're gonna turn a blind eye to it. So I really feel like that's how normalization of perversion occurred, and then now we have this trauma, right? So like we
Yeah.
have, we're acting out the trauma now. Now we have sex trafficking. Now we have, we're gonna talk about this, the Catholic Church, okaying or turn a blind eye to sex abuse. We have stripper culture, we have whole culture, we have the sex work. And a lot of times when you look into that whole background, you're going to find trauma, that these broken adults, they're still broken children inside, but now, they can't help that they're growing and developing, physically. They are like these broken children that trauma occurred. I remember I was watching this. I tell this really weird story. I was watching like divorce court, and this girl was like, "I want to be a stripper." Like she
What?
told her husband, yeah, it was like she told her mom at 2 years old she wanted to twirl around the pole. Where did she get that from? Then like
Yeah.
she grows up and she's just 23. Yeah, she was 23 years old and she was like, I want to be a stripper. If he's not down with that, I want a divorce. And I'm like, yo, really? Like who grows up and say they want to be a stripper or a sex worker unless they, seen that somewhere in their household. So go back to perversion, right? They seen that
Yeah.
perversion in their household, and that's the normalization because no one's not breaking the cycle. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and I think another thing that's like kind of catapulted this whole, I guess you can call it a movement of perversion or whatever, but I think that because there are known pedophiles being accepted in society, that they're trying to make it okay for us to say, well, he's a pedophile, but he acted really good in this movie, or he directed this movie really great. So I mean, it can't be that bad, can it?
Or, my favorite one, as people say, can we separate the artistry from the person? But that is part of who they are. Like that artistry is
Exactly.
coming from that person. And it's like a lot of times, no, because someone, once again, the cycle wasn't broken. Someone probably preyed on this person, like R. Kelly, then his sister or someone molested
Hmm.
him, and then he, didn't probably didn't have, let's talk about it, didn't have the resources or accessibility to go to some type of therapy, some type of trauma based focus, help. And, just like, oh, well, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to prey on other people because this is the normalization that I witnessed or that was happening to me. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, yeah, good point.
And to add on top of that, I want to take it's a director in Hollywood. I don't care. I'm gonna say his name because everybody knows it. Bryan Singer. He's in this documentary. It's called An Open Secret, and you can find it on YouTube. It's about how how pedophiles groom people for certain roles. And he's on that documentary. He's living with this. I want to say at the time the boy couldn't have been any older than 15 or 16.
Mm.
And he's basically like, yeah, but he's doing all this to me, but I'm gonna be in this movie. So, it's like a point of like this is essentially pimping out your children.
Right, as we talked about on earlier episodes, and to piggyback off of that, remember, it was a Lifetime movie. What was their names? The two Corys, and it showed how they were molested, and how pretty much look how their life was so dysfunctional, and all the I call it the casting calls on the casting couch. They was getting molested from
Yeah.
kids, and they turn a blind eye because it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna pimp my child out because we want to be famous, we want the notoriety, and that's why you see a lot of these child actors. Not saying all of them, most of them are like dysfunction, drug addicts, some type of addiction is happening because they can't cope with what happened, and then a lot of times they're told to be quiet because it's like, oh, we got to get this money. And that other guy, the other Corey, he had overdosed himself. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that guy like had a lot of, he couldn't cope. And it's just sad that you see this, and it's in white culture, black
Yes.
culture.
Yes.
People are people, and people, have dysfunctions, and you would think, oh, well, they're white, they have more accessibility to like, therapy. Don't folks go to all type of therapy? They go to all type of sober living houses. They just cannot cope with that. That's like deep rooted trauma. And
Bec-
people like, yeah, you still gotta perform. Who cares?
it's something that happens to a person like when they're exposed to sex too early, that they lose their shit. They go crazy.
Mhm.
And you can't undo certain things. Now look at the Phoenix family in Hollywood, Joaquin Phoenix and River Phoenix, and I want to say they have a couple other sisters or something that act.
Mhm.
But River Phoenix, he was exposed to sex when he was 4 years old. He I want to say I was reading an article that he said he lost his virginity when he was about 4.
Mm.
Yeah, so, and his parents were living in this cult in Spain, and they had to sing on the streets to make money for their dinner. Like, it's a really interesting story, and his brother is crazy as cat shit right now. Joaquin Phoenix is crazy as hell.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this is across the board. This isn't even like, color lines thing. I mean, in white culture, you're gonna see this happen, but they kind of just have the money to make it go away. Whereas in black culture, we don't. When early exposure to sex happens, there's no positive outlet for it. So you're just gonna go around infecting everybody that because you're infected.
Right, exactly. And we also need to check ourselves when we see young girls and even young men, if they're promiscuous and like, well, they fast. You need to like check yourself and be like, okay, what happened? Because like something is happening, to the point if they're being promiscuous. Okay, and sometimes maybe we need to intervene and be like, hey, what's going on? And if we have the tools, we have the resources to help them in some type of way, not hinder, but help. And not tell these folks business, but actually be a sounding board, being a sacred space, to help them, do so. Because I mean, we already, as a people, we already deal with so much trauma or so many different levels. But to see these young boys and these young girls out here just acting out adult acts and they don't know what's going on, we need to intervene and be that village.
I
Back in the day, like when you're,
call
go
that
ahead.
plantation. I call that plantation culture.
Mm,
Because it's so much dysfunction that was going on the slave plantation, where we were basically used as animals to breed to make more of us. So a lot of that stuff is passed on today, and it's like not to make excuses or just to draw the parallel. If you had
mm-hmm,
the male buck, or the hooved animal as we call it here, he had to impregnate as many women as he could.
mm-hmm.
And that's still happening today on like a subconscious level, whereas like you see some of these men, they're going around impregnating every woman that they can. And it's always, not always, but a lot of the time you're going to see the athletes and the rappers, they all have very young children, really close in age. Is
Mm-hmm.
and it's like access to sex, and because you're able to have it, and just forcing it on somebody are different, but that's still like you need to get counseled for why you have to do this,
Right,
or why you
exactly.
feel that you have to do this.
Right. And that's why you see, that's a good point. You see a lot of athletes, especially, they want their advance from the beginning because they have to pay so much back child support. I know, what was that dude's name? He had about like 15 kids, and I think he's around our age. Cromartie. He used to play for
Yeah,
the Jets.
yeah,
That dude just like, hey, he kind of was like, oh, you don't got a baby by me? What's up? Come on. And I'm like, don't look at him because he'll just get you impregnated by looking at this man. And
yeah.
I think he already had like 10 kids and had a nerve to get married and had
Really?
like 4 or 5 kids with his wife. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? And I think the kids was all under, I want to say they was all under like 12.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm
Oh.
like, not just child support. How are you going to take care of them emotionally, psychologically, physically? Because, yeah, that's cool. Anybody can get a check, anybody can get a child support check. But you talking about homework, you talking about growing pains, you talking about all these years of like, okay, growth and development, you still stuck in the age of like, oh, I can still whip my penis out and stick it in whoever. And then you got AIDS and STDs out here. So that's even more perversion that you're infecting people now. So yeah, I have to throw that out there.
And
Ooh.
another thing I want to talk about the normalization of this, from a political standpoint, there are two organizations. One is called NAMBLA, and one is called Butterfly Kisses. NAMBLA is a amalgamation of North American Man Boy Love Association, and
Mm.
that's a group where uh, powerful white men, mostly white men, I'll say it like that. Um,
Mhm.
they get they have these little boys. You see a lot of the sex trafficking when they're taking those little boys. It's all a big sex trafficking thing or a pedophile circle or something like that, and they're all just together having sex with these boys.
Mm.
And butterfly kisses. I know not a lot of people think of women as pedophiles, but it's an organization that's very close to NAMBLA, but it's the same thing with women and little girls.
Wow.
And
Mm.
if you look at very early pictures from the 80s of, when the gay pride parades were starting, NAMBLA marched alongside the gay pride parade.
Right.
And
Right.
NAMBLA has very powerful donors who are making it, um, I guess, more open about their perversion because they've really tried to reclassify themselves as pedophiles. They're trying to say that it's a sexual orientation like being gay or lesbian, but it's not.
Mm.
You know,
Wow.
they're saying that you got the pedophile, right? And it breaks down into being an offending pedophile and a non-offending pedophile. And an offending pedophile is just what it sounds like, an adult who has sex with children. And a
Mhm.
non-offending pedophile, that is somebody who says that they have a sexual attraction to children that they didn't act on or they don't plan on acting on, which I completely think is bullshit.
Right.
And there's another thing that's going on right now called clover gender. I don't know exactly where to go because like I've gone into the deep annals of the internet trying to find out something about this. Half of the internet says it's fake and the other half says it's true. And so it's somewhere in the middle there's the truth, but clover gender is an adult person claiming to be emotionally, I want to say, between 3 and 11. And so in
Mm.
their minds that makes it okay for them to have a sexual attraction to children. It's a whole like really deep grossness to this. I couldn't even get the words out.
Right. And that's the dark web, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the dark web that some of us, if you're that curious, you can have access to, but who mainly have access to it? People who have power, people who
Hmm.
have privilege, people who have the money, and all those three are pretty much interconnected. And like you said, you can't even get the words out because you're like, yo, people are really having these thoughts. And guess what happened when you have thoughts? Majority of the time you're gonna act on it. I don't care what anybody say.
And
Unless
that's
you have some really strong self determination, like, yo, I'm not gonna do this. But if it's already in your mind, the next step you're gonna act on it.
the thing is, like, let's really think about where they're getting these kids from. They're either getting them from the foster care system
Mm-hmm.
or they're getting them just by snatching them off the street because nobody's kidnapping for ransom these days. Everybody's kidnapping for trafficking, whether it be drug or sex.
Facts. Facts. Exactly. It's not like back in our time in which you see like the creepy white GMC van and
Yeah.
you're like running like, oh my God, stranger danger. Like you have legit sex trafficking. And we're gonna talk about this too. The number one sex trafficking city is Atlanta.
Yep.
And people, I don't care if you want to, you can clutch your pearls all you want to if you are ATLN, but it's facts. It's the truth. You can go do your Googles, but like people, like you said, it's so many black children that are being abducted. They're not being abducted for, oh, because you're cute, whatever, for ransom. They know we poor. We don't have any money. We don't have
Yeah.
any wealth. It's for either, we're going to talk about this too, organ trafficking.
Hmm.
We're gonna talk about sex trafficking. And they're like, well, who cares? It's black bodies. We don't care about black bodies. We don't care about black people. So, and that's why you don't see them doing this hard investigation because they already know the deal.
Hmm.
Man,
And the thing is, like, if you press hard enough, your child will come back, but they'll be dead, and the state breaks you off $100,000.
right. Right, exactly. Then it's going back to, either they're dead or they're like spiritually, emotionally dead, and then you're like, oh my God, what happened to my child? Because all type of drugs was pumped through this child,
Hmm.
all type of brainwashing happened.
Look at
So
Elizabeth Smart. That whole story.
I
She
know
knew people who have come back from kidnapping.
exactly, exactly.
And what's the other one's name? J.C. Lee Dugard. Her.
Oh yep. I remember watching a documentary on both their stories. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. Crazy. And a lot of times, you know what's the worst thing about it is, and I think this case happened in Cleveland, Ohio. It be your next door neighbor doing these horrendous acts, and then you like, hold on, I knew I seen something weird going on. Oh, but let me mind my business. And I remember when those, I think it was like some white girls out of Cleveland, Ohio, they finally broke free from that house and they ran into
Yeah.
that black guy's arms. And
Yeah.
he, I mean, I'm like, y'all didn't see like all this craziness. Oh no, we was just minding our business. So sometimes people are not being neighborly anymore. Everyone's minding their business, but it's like when it happens to your family member or your child, you gonna be like, hold up, I need someone to advocate for me. So
I mean, but
interesting.
I understand that not being neighborly, but in that man's situation, he was a black man living next door to a white man. For all we know, he was like, well, he white, he in charge, he know what he doing.
That's true, cause he did have. He not trying to laugh, cause he's all like, yeah, when they ran into my arms, I knew something was wrong, and I said, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, facts, fam, you right, fam, yep, yeah.
When I'm
Whew.
driving, I see somebody white do something ridiculous. I'm like, oh, if they white, it's their road. I'm just on it.
Yep, exactly. I'm just trying to keep my life. I ain't trying to get shot or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna move on to next.
Let's talk about the church.
Ooh, Lord. Lord have mercy. Y'all don't seen what happened to the church. They done raised $600 million.
Man, Ogun came through working his shoulders.
Facts. Facts.
Man, 'cause
He was all like, I'm sick of this ish. I'm about to shut it down.
he came through. He was like, I am burning this molestation museum down.
Yo, and it's I have seen a meme. It says over 500 years of molestation has finally burnt down.
Hmm. And you know, the strange thing about that is that a mosque was burning at the same time.
Wow.
I want to say the mosque was in Israel or something. It was in somewhere in Africa, but they were burning simultaneously. I was like, oh,
Mm.
I was like, that's some deep shit.
That's deep. And if you look like deep into it, it's like maybe it's the ending of symbolism and religion,
Yeah.
you know? And that and just with the Catholic Church period. And I mean, I seen so many I don't know on your timeline, on my timeline, all the black Catholic folks, they crying. I'm looking at them like, child, what? Like we had three black churches burned in Louisiana, right?
Yep.
Was y'all crying? I didn't even see y'all didn't post nothing about that. But y'all over here talking about where's the GoFundMe? I need to donate. Child, they good. They got $600 million in like 72 hours.
Man,
And why would you want to donate to perversion? I don't care if it is religion. Perversion, once again.
exactly. Like these priests and pastors and nuns and bishops, whatever, they all use the cloth as a shield to their perversion.
Right. Right, but be very pragmatic and dogmatic about LGBTQ, but y'all part of their clique though.
Yeah.
As I look at it, but people who go hard about stuff like that, you gotta really side eye them because nah, you part of that clique on the low, but you don't want to come out and say, hey, this is what I'm a part of.
Exactly. And you hear so many stories of preachers getting women in the church pregnant and touching little girls and choir masters touching the little boys in the choirs. Like, dude, come on, y'all are no better than anyone else.
Exactly. And you hear so many stories. I know it was a church in Montgomery. This was I was in undergrad school. And the pastor, he impregnated majority, no lie, of the underage parishioners, women,
Oh my.
and he infected them with AIDS. And then when they checked him, like, yo, you gotta get out the church. he was like, I'm not getting out the effing church. Y'all know who I am. So you have situations like that just being perverted. And those poor young women, they, of course, oh, you can't get an abortion, da 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 da, have not only have to carry his child, but you have AIDS on top of that. And your life, you can live a whatever type of life you want, but your life is like ruined by this person who you're supposed to trust because he's the lead. He's supposed to be leading you. He's supposed to be God's messenger.
Exactly. And I hate to say this, but especially black people have a tendency to follow pastors blindly.
Yes, yes. And you see it even more now, especially because once again it's mainstream. We have social media and
Hmm.
folks like, yes, pastor. And mind you, I have a lot of I have a lot of pastors in my family, and I be like, listen, you need to be checking your folks, y'all deacons and stuff like that, because they ain't right. And don't be just following anybody. Like, do the research. It's like everybody's being a pastor now or in the church because that's where the money's at. And y'all just let these people slide with perversion. For instance, what's your man's name? Eddie Long, that
Eddie
died.
Longstroke.
He done. He was on a DL. I'm sorry. And where was it? We're gonna talk about Atlanta. Here we go, Atlanta. And he was like just raping and pillaging them black men in his church
Hmm.
at, what is it, New Birth, whatever the case is. And now, did you see the new pervert they got in there?
Who?
Dr. Jamal, oh, Bryant. He came from Baltimore, Maryland. He cheated on his wife, got like two or three of his parishioners pregnant, child.
Uh.
I'm gonna sit out. Oh my God, I made a mistake and I repent. No, they done shipped his behind to pastor over Eddie Long stroke church, as the old Southern folks would say. And I'm like, okay. And talking about I'm gonna clean it up. Bruh, where you clean it up? You just done brought your perversion down to this church. And who
Exactly.
knows what you gonna do.
Atlanta is a hotbed for the hustler preacher. Isn't Creflo Dollar down there?
Creflo Dollar, you got your man, money making Mace. He got his church in Atlanta. I said I'm gonna go visit just to see. I mean, you have a hot mess of mega churches, especially in Atlanta. In Atlanta, like you said, it's the
Oh my.
hotbed of not just only perversion, but like, you got pimp in the pulpit. You got all type of nastiness. And let's go back to, I know we're supposed to be talking about Catholic church, but let's talk about back in like, let's see, the 40s, 50s, 60s, in Detroit, Aretha Franklin's dad's church. His church was known as like the orgy, do what you want church.
Yeah, they were.
And
I
people were like, oh
was
no,
Aretha
not
that she had his baby.
exactly. And they like, oh no, not Pastor CL. Yes, y'all old school hooping and hollering pastor. Because even Ray Charles has said, oh, you want to go to a church, you can do any and everything with whoever, go to CL Franklin Church.
Hmm.
So, this been going on, the perversion in the church. We talking about black churches, then we'll go to Catholic church forever. Because where have they learned it from? They have learned it from being manipulated, being bamboozled by
Hmm.
white supremacists with the
Yep.
Bible,
Yep.
and being raped and pillaged by them because they raped and pillaged our ancestors in different countries in Africa, still doing it now. And we can go talk about I can talk about Nigerian pastors alone and the perversion they do. And I'm not just talking about like sexual wise. I'm talking about like perversion of like raping and pillaging money wise, psychological wise, and it's still going on. So that's why they're getting Ogun is like, I'm sick of y'all. Y'all all about to get wiped off the face of this earth.
Pretty much. I mean, like, I'm not big into religion at all, but you got all that happening in one time. It's like, oh, that's got to be the ancestors.
Definitely. They're sick and tired. They're sick and tired of just, getting, seeing what's going on. And I mean, the Catholic Church, come on. So many people. They have I think they have 1.2. Let me look at it. 1.2 billion members, and y'all still rock with them.
Yeah.
And then they always talk about birth control. You can't, you pretty much have no agency of your body. But while they molesting boys, also boys, because you see so many of them coming out, they pay all this large number of money for lawsuits. And
Hmm.
people still are members of the Catholic Church, but they talk about, oh, anti-gay, anti-this, but they be doing the opposite. No one's holding them accountable.
Well, they have it's all word trickery. They say, well, yeah, I did this, but I can go say 6 Hail Marys and then I'm done. So it's like you got to pay to play, essentially.
Mm. Right, exactly. And it's going back to what I said, the power, the privilege, and the wealth.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So where do we want to take it from here?
Let's talk about this bathhouse culture. Strippers, sex workers,
Lord
all
have mercy.
that foolishness.
Lord have mercy. And Atlanta have this, speaking of that, Atlanta have this they started this website called Beloved Atlanta. And I was doing some research. It says we are a community of women who have survived trafficking, prostitution, and addiction. Atlanta is the number one city in the United States with the highest sex economy income of 290 million per year.
Excuse
Beloved
me.
Atlanta, yes, let me repeat that. Income of 290 million per year off of sex economy. So we're talking about stripping, we talking about sex trafficking, prostitution, let's just say sexual exploitation, right?
Yeah.
And folks are just always trying to run down there and move there because I guess they feel their problem's gonna be solved because they moved to Atlanta. Black folks, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, black
Your
people.
cousin baby and them done moved down there.
Yeah, black people think moving to Atlanta fix all their problems.
It's not gonna fix all your problems. You're gonna find yourself in the sex trafficking ring. But yeah. And so let's talk about go ahead, let's continue talking about this culture because it's a problem if Atlanta is making 290 million per year.
Let's also mention how the CDC is there.
Facts. And go do
Oh,
your Googles on the CDC.
that just seems outrageous to me.
Right.
I just don't get it. But I want to say that it's a lot of partying that goes on in Atlanta. You always see, it advertised, this is happening in Atlanta. We're doing this weekend, that weekend, and then next weekend we have this going on, and it's like you're just making yourself an open target because you're sitting
You're
here and you're letting, you're gonna probably do a couple little party drugs or whatever, take a couple Xanax or smoke a blunt or whatever, and you're just sitting up here opening yourself to anything because you're not gonna be on alert. And so, yeah, that dude that's whispering in your ear all night, come to his car, and next thing you know, you're in the back of a van with 50 other people.
mm-hmm. Exactly. And I remember back in my undergrad school days, like we used to just jump in a car and go to Atlanta because we was only an hour and a half from Atlanta. And I remember just seeing certain things like, yo, I remember like being with my best friend and like my other homegirls, like, yo, we have to stick together because, like you say, you have the dudes, let me buy you a drink. And I'm always cautious when anyone says that I have to come with you. I'm like legit walking with you to the bar. Like, this is when I was drinking. I don't drink anymore. And like, let me see what they put into my drink.
Right.
And my friends were like, why you be? I'm like, listen. Or didn't I sometimes I'm like, we good. I don't care if you call me a cop blocker because you don't know what people are setting you up for. Especially, if you're into those things, if you're into like popping Molly, what do you think all that popping Molly and ecstasy, that's Atlanta culture.
Yeah.
Cause what's your boy talking about? What Molly Percocet,
Yeah.
bruh. I'm like, if I take Molly Percocet, I'm probably gonna be dead. I'm like, how your body can handle all that? But that's sex trafficking. That's like, okay, we're gonna set this chick up. Why you think a lot of times when people go to the strip club, you see these chicks, a lot of them are not in their right mind. They don't pop some type of party drug because they're like, man, I gotta get this money, so let me just go ahead and make this 290 million,
Mhm.
contribute to that. It's crazy.
I don't know, man, because it's like it's one of those things where it's just like sex isn't kept private anymore. You know, you have this debauchery in the streets, and it's just pouring out, and it's exposing itself to children younger and younger.
Exactly. And that's why, like you said, it's just out in the open. I remember, like, you'll be like ashamed, like, oh my God, they're talking about sex. Now everything is like, oh, bust it open. I don't got a problem getting zaddy. All I gotta do is bust it open and do this. And you're like, yo, you're opening yourself up for other things. And I know it may sound like, oh, she's slut shaming, whatever the buzzword is, but we have to protect ourselves, and that's for men and for women as well. And you don't know what people are trying to lead you to or what their intentions are. Especially if you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go move to Atlanta. And I mean, Atlanta has a history. Don't forget Atlanta, child murders. They said a lot of perversion was going
Murder.
on with that.
Let's talk about that for a second, okay?
Mhm.
You just go on the record and say Wayne Williams was a driver. He wasn't in a room when none of them boys were murdered. And those boys, they were being lured to this house that was owned by this homosexual white man. I can't
Mhm.
think of his name right now, but he was luring those boys to that house. It was two houses, one that he lived in and one that he did his sex crimes in.
Right.
And he was getting those boys and he was driving them to like Michigan, like lower Michigan islands. You know, there are a lot of islands around Michigan. And
Mhm.
he was driving those boys there, and they were having these really elite like how much cocaine do you want parties on these islands, and they were raping these little boys, and they would drive them back down, and Wayne Williams was getting like $50 or so to just dump them in the river.
Right, exactly. Also, too, they also used him because he was a music promoter, and
Hmm.
so when we think of music promoter, we're like, oh my God, like here's our big break. Like let me send my child with this person or whoever with this person because they're gonna be, in this mega group, and not knowing that he's pretty much driving you to your demise.
Hmm.
And I mean, $50, really?
Yeah, they were
Mm-mm.
they were tossing him like nigger pennies, like money that they wouldn't miss.
No, that's chump change to them. That's like $2. Mm. And so that pretty much like set off of what Atlanta is, right? That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. That's just set off for Atlanta. So that happened because I have my notes out here. That was between 1979 and 1981.
Oh wow, I didn't
Then,
know.
yep. And then, and what happened? We got
We got AIDS in Atlanta.
AIDS in Atlanta, CDC. Oh, but don't forget, 2 years later, in 1983, you got Freaknik. Cause we gonna
Oh
talk about Freaknik.
snap!
Freaknik,
Woo.
was supposed to be this. We having a picnic organized by the AUC, Atlantic University Center.
Mm.
The historically black colleges and universities. And so, they was like, hey, we want to do like this cool, innocent picnic. We gonna have, I'm gonna call it spring home break, right?
Yeah.
Homecoming. We gonna do spring homecoming, spring break. No, child. Mm-mm. They done turned that thing up. They done turned it up to what is called Freaknik. And of course, your mama and them. I don't think my mama and them, because my mother is like my parents are way older. Probably my brothers and them, they probably went to Freaknik. And you remember seeing I remember seeing videos like, yo, oh my God, I don't want to
Yeah.
go there because you might get
Yeah.
raped and pillaged and go there. And yeah, Freaknik was something else.
And now they're trying to bring it back, but say it's family friendly. That doesn't work. Those two things don't go together.
Right, by Uncle Luke. Don't do it. Don't do it, Uncle Luke. And don't bring your children to Freaknik. Now I'm reading this article here. y'all boy, the mayor, the former mayor, Kasim Reed, he talking about he didn't know what was he talking about he didn't know what was going on. Talking about I came home and I like just went by there. Nah, bruh, you was all up in the mix. Go Google Freaknik for y'all for the younger folk don't know what Freaknik is. You gonna be question well maybe y'all don't because it's normalized now that they can't even have a Freaknik now. If they do make it quote unquote family friendly, it's not gonna last. Them Negroes gonna get kicked out of Atlanta so quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're gonna get put out of Atlanta super quick because Atlanta is gentrified now.
Yes.
So white people not gonna have that. You could have had that when it was a bunch of niggas and college age people. Yeah, that would have flew then, but not right now.
Exactly. Not now. And then you have the highest, I think Atlanta's like one of the highest wealth disparities too.
Yeah,
Them white folks gonna kick you up out of there. You might gonna be banned for life, even though you may live in Atlanta or whatever. I don't know where y'all gonna have it at. Y'all got too many damn festivals as it is already. Just keep y'all music festivals popping. You don't need Freak Part Two. We don't need another strand of some type of weird superbug STD that is airborne and we all get marked. We don't need that.
yeah. And like I know a lot of people who've like went to visit Atlanta or something and said like it took a couple of days for their body to adjust because the air wasn't right out there. And I'm like,
Wow.
gosh, what, that is where the CDC is. I don't want to put on, my tinfoil bonnet and just be like, oh man, they trying to kill the niggas. But they might be, who knows?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, like, it's already overpopulated. It's already too much pollution. It's already too much Negro. I always say too much Negroes in one spot. So they
Yeah,
trying to kill a couple of y'all. They trying to really normalize this perversion and kill y'all off because they sick of y'all coming. And I mean, folks, I mean, a lot of my family members moved to Atlanta, and I'm like, what are y'all moving there for? Oh, child, the houses are cheap. Okay, that's not the only reason why especially if you like early 20s, moving there
yeah.
in the 90s. You moving there for some other reasons. And they have also too a black market in Atlanta when it comes to the strip culture, going back to sex trafficking, sex working. But it's in the outskirts of Atlanta. So we're not talking about Fulton County. We're talking about like Henry County. We talking about DeKalb County. We talking about all them places. And also too, everyone, Atlanta's only but so big. You got all these Confederate redneck counties that
Hmm.
you don't even want to drive there at nighttime.
No,
So
don't.
you
I
really don't.
remember like trying to time it, having to drive through Georgia either early in the morning when nobody was up or just, middle of the day when people at work.
Hmm. Cause y'all think y'all getting turned up, but whatever, y'all not. And let's talk about how mainstream media, when I'm talking about media, I'm talking about television, radio, if folks still listen to radio, they really are promoting this perversion. They're really like normalizing this. I mean, you can't even listen to like you can listen to that hot beat, like, oh, this beat's hot. Then you hear what they say, you like, what? Hold on. What channel am I listening to? So you
Right.
have media that's promoting the normalization of perversion to the point you can't even let your little child listen to they gotta listen to Baby Shark and drive you nuts for like 20 times, 20 minutes in the car because you're like, yo, I would not let my child listen to whatever's on the radio.
Yeah, that's very true because you can barely let your kids watch TV now.
Oh gosh, I don't even want to watch TV like that.
I mean, what's on TV these days anyway besides some foolishness?
You got everything that's love and hip hop, well, love and shit hop.
Yeah.
You got Black Ink, which the trash. What else? You got Who Wants to Fall in Love with Me today, the little stupid reality show which they think they're gonna find love. So it's trash.
Yeah, it's about time that you gotta find some positive outlets.
But people they want to escape, right? They want to escape from their own reality, and they feel like, well, cause they call. I didn't even know that they call Monday Ratchet Mondays, And so I was watching some black conscious YouTube. They was like, don't be disturbing folks from Ratchet Mondays. I'm like, what? So that's when all the Ratchet TV is on Mondays. I'm like, chow.
Is
Y'all
that
need
how
to
you
pick up a.
start your week?
Yeah, hold on. No, let's not forget Sundays. I'm gonna call it like Ratchet Sundays because you got Housewives that come on Sundays, I think. Yeah, these folks gonna start their week off ready to like fight, ready to like get butt injections. Because I done seen a lot of my classmates talking about they saving their money. Mind you, they don't got a pot to piss in the window, throw it out. Talking about they gonna go to Atlanta. Here we go, Atlanta, and our other favorite city, Miami, because they gotta go see Dr. Miami to get butt injections. Really?
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, that's the wave because they sit there and start their week off on this frequency. Remember we talked about frequency and low vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, I'm gonna stack my coins. Never mind to like get a house or pay debt or whatever the case is. Nah, because I'm in my 30s now. Things are looking. Yeah, we're gonna age. Everything's not gonna be sitting looking pretty all the time, and I'm gonna save my coins and go see Dr. Miami, who's like this well-renowned plastic surgeon, and go get lipo and get the fat out of my stomach and put it in my booty because I feel like my booty's not fat enough because I can't get the dude. So perversion because I can't get this dude that I want because he don't like me for who I am because maybe he's not the dude you should be with. That's another topic of discussion because you want to have your body that you're going to have to maintain. So you're going to have to go to the gym. You don't want to go to the gym as it is now.
I don't understand that because see, you got the people who are trying to do it to get to a legit doctor, and then you got the hookup side of it, where you got somebody, you go in somebody mama basement, and they're giving you an injection of something out of a red Solo cup.
Right. Exactly. So you have that because I can't even think of the lady's name. She was based out of Atlanta. It was a black woman. And she had made, oh God, so many millions of dollars giving illegal butt injections. And she served like 5 years. And
Oh
she
my
was doing
goodness.
it out her house, like you was mentioning, because I guess they was tired of going to DR, Dominican Republic, or Mexico. So she's like, "Oh, let me go take a few trips there. Oh, that's what y'all do? Okay, I'm gonna go do it at my house in Atlanta." And she started opening up major shops, and that's how these chicks start getting this booty. And then all of a sudden, it's like, "Oh, she went to jail. Now I gotta go see Dr. Miami."
Mm.
And I think he got his own reality show too.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, these folks they love because it's a few reality shows on what's that network that's dedicated specifically for plastic surgeons. So where we don't appreciate our natural beauty anymore, we want to have Kim Kardashian look. We want to have even though that's all build a body,
Yeah.
Cardi, Nicki Minaj. But y'all don't understand the complications. Cause I know what's her name said she had to get some of her booty removed. What's her name? K Michelle. Cause
Hmm.
she was having so much complications. So once again, it's the perversion. The perversion you're doing to yourself. Like what if you want to have kids? What if you want to live this quality of life? So you want to be vain and have Dr. Miami or Shaniqua put this fix a flat in your butt and half your butt is rotting out because you want to participate in this perversion, then she might be calculating how to sell you into sex trafficking.
Yep. That's a thing, and people don't want to, admit that.
No, they don't. I know folks probably clutching their pearls like, child, what are we listening to today? So, yes. Okay. Did we touch on everything?
Yeah, man, we went down the whole outline.
Man, yes, we sure did. And guys, oh, and another thing I wanted to say, and then we'll cut it. Be careful when you go to Miami. Miami's the next hotbed too for a lot of casting calls for porno. So
Oh
you
yeah.
may see this sexy Afro-Cuban type of dude, and he's like speaking to you in Spanish. If you don't know what he's talking about, and you trying to have this one night stand, you might be on an amateur porno video.
That's true. That's a real big thing. I knew some girls in my undergrad, and they went to Miami for spring break, and then I want to say when we came back a couple weeks later, everybody was like, "You seen so and so and so and so on Pornhub?" Like, oh my god.
Right. Exactly. So, you have to be careful when you go to any of these hot spots and you're like, oh, the people are beautiful, this, that, and the other. And like I always say, they are studying you. And if you're looking like a deer in the headlights and you're like, oh, especially if no one haven't told you that you're beautiful and you get sucked into it, men or women, you're gonna find yourself on Pornhub or, having an addiction that you can't kick, or you find yourself kidnapped and you are sent to, somewhere abroad and you're, pretty much in sex trafficking ring. So just check yourself. Just be careful because I know people are gonna be starting they're planning their vacation. So, just make sure that you got your mind right and be careful of like the whole drinking and stuff like that. If that's what you into, just be careful of your surroundings.
Always keep your head on a swivel.
Facts. Facts. So, man, what a great convo. Thank you all once again for just even rocking with us, listening to us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. We want to hear from you all too. Like, if you like this topic, if you got your 2 cents to add to it, definitely add it. Make sure you share this with your folks, your tribe. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at the Urban Social Scientists. What else? We can find us on Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud.
We everywhere if you know where to look.
If you do your Googles. So yeah.
But
So
I do want to
go ahead.
I do want to give a big old shout out though. I want to give a big shout out to the Ted and Ty show. They're on Apple Podcasts, guys. These guys keep me laughing. You guys should check them out. They're really funny.
Yeah, so shout out to them. Shout out. Shout out to like everyone who, we advertise. Shout out to those we've been in contact with. Don't be afraid to share our podcast. I know that, we talk some real talk, but we just trying to make sure we educate in the minds of the people. So yeah. And that's my final thought. So y'all know me. Much love and light to the us tribe. Audi 5000.
Later days.
Peace.